What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a quick preview and a breakdown for the January update coming to Destiny 2. And so this one's going to be a bit of a roundup. Bungie have of course announced a bunch of the changes that we're going to see in the update on the 30th of January, but for any folks that have been out of the loop, I figured we'd break it all down, since this is one of the major updates that Bungie outlined in the roadmap up to the final shape. So there are a couple of items and updates that may be useful for a bunch of players. We'll talk about new weekly pursuits, the launch of Moments of Triumph, and a couple of updates that we'll see, as it looks like we are going to see some quality of life stuff in the patch as well. So if you want to know everything about Tuesday's update in one place, hopefully the video will be useful. If it is, a rating below very much helps us out, but now let's get into it. And firstly, there are a couple of updates that Bungie have outlined which are worth mentioning. We'll probably see more quality of life changes and some fixes for bugs and things like that in the season, but initially, they did announce that the Glimmer cap has been increased to 500,000, so that'll double the capacity, which will certainly be useful, especially when we get to the expansion launch, as that's when we tend to be spending more of the currency and things like that. So that's one of the things coming in update 734. Once again, that'll launch on January 30th at the weekly reset time. But additionally, Bungie have said they'll be adding Ascendant alloys as a new weekly reward to competitive Crucible, and on completing the weekly challenge for the seasonal weapon, a second challenge will unlock, which offers an Ascendant alloy as a reward for completing 3 additional matches. But on top of that, they say the first challenge of the season, which is to complete 7 placement matches, will also reward an Ascendant alloy. So another small quality of life update right there for any folks jumping into competitive PvP on a weekly basis. On top of that though, a more minor change here and more of a fix really, but the Destiny 2 team just said that the seasonal challenge, A Wish Fulfilled, currently requires 66 weekly challenges to complete, but they are fixing the required challenges to the intended number of 63 when update 734 arrives on January 30th. So certainly not a major one there, but an additional change that Bungie have just outlined. Otherwise, we'll get patch notes on Tuesday, and I've got no doubt that there'll be a couple of additional items in that update. But the second major element of the January update are Riven's Wishes, and this is going to be a new weekly pursuit, where Bungie have said on the reset players can visit Morro to accept a weekly quest with a high-risk objective in the Dreaming City. So I'm assuming it will be a fixed quest every week. And it will include stuff like completing a Legend Lost sector or a dungeon, but those objectives will be Dreaming City specifically, so there's a fairly limited pool of activities that will be considered high risk, I suppose. Potentially the raid will be included as well, but Bungie have said that upon completing the weekly objectives, players will be able to return to Morro to receive a wish token, and that can be used to purchase a reward from 3 specific categories. So players will be able to obtain Last Wish weapons initially, and these will drop with a red border. So it's the first time I can think of where players will be able to pick up raid weapons without actually playing the raid. And so for any folks who haven't raided yet or don't generally do those activities, it may be the first time that they're getting access to those weapons. But equally, for any players who perhaps have 1 or 2 red borders they haven't picked up, it could potentially be useful. But the other category includes exotics from the Lightfall year, and Bungie have said for hunters that'll include the Speedloader Slacks, the Crotarachne's Facade, Triton Vice or the Mothkeeper's Wraps, with Titans able to get the Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap, Abeyant Leap, Arbor Warden, and the Pyrogale Gauntlets. And then Warlocks will be able to unlock Ballador's Wrathweavers, Swarmers, Cenotaph Mask, or Briarbinds. So again, it's one of those for newer players who perhaps haven't picked all of those up, or have skipped a season this year, it could be a useful one. Bungie haven't said whether we can anticipate seeing things like high stat rolls on these, as obviously that may make them a bit more useful for any folks who've already acquired them. Share your thoughts below, but the final category includes a variety of items. Firstly, there is the Festival of the Lost or Dawning Memento, but there'll also be an option to pick up 2 Ascendant Shards or Alloys, as well as an exotic cipher. So again, give us any thoughts you have on those rewards. And Bungie have said that Riven's Wishes will give new quests for 6 weeks. So there are 6 individual quests in the thread, and those can be completed any time up until the final shape. And so kind of a mixed bag of how exciting those rewards are. If you've already acquired everything, it's certainly going to be less appealing, but I've no doubt there are a bunch of players that will at least have a couple of items on those lists which may be useful to be able to pick up. And so share your thoughts down below. But the other major component for the January update will be the launch of Moments of Triumph for 2023. Of course, we're now in 2024, but this is Moments of Triumph for the Lightfall year. And to unlock the 2023 title, we'll need to complete 26 of 30 challenges. Plus, additional rewards for the event include the Moments of Triumph t-shirt token, which only requires 5 challenges completed. Then there's a new exotic ghost shell called the Laurel Shell, which can be earned by completing 14 of the triumphs. With a new exotic sparrow, the Fire Guild Quadriga, being rewarded for completing 21 triumphs. On top of that though, there's the new raid patch that can be purchased from the Bungie store if you complete a run of each year 6 raid and dungeon to earn the 2023 patch. March. And then in terms of other objectives, we won't break down every single one of them, although I will link a video down below where we break down all of the required triumphs for this year. But optional triumphs include completing the Lightfall Legendary campaign, or the triumph to complete all heroic public events on Neomuna, the lost sectors on Neomuna, and to collect all of the action figures on the destination. Plus we've got stuff like restoring all of the damaged memorials in the Hall of Heroes on Neomuna, or claiming all of the rank rewards from Nimbus. And then we get on to raids and dungeons, where completing Root of Nightmares will count as one triumph, or Crota's End. And then there's the triumph for the Ghosts of the Deep, and for Warlord's Ruin. And then the other triumphs consist of things like completing every step of the seasonal quests from Season of Defiance, Season of the Witch, and Wish, but also for things like exotic missions like Starcrust. So it pretty much consists of all of the major beats from this year. Again, if you want to see all of the triumphs, I'll link my previous video in the description box below. But let us know if Moments of Triumph is something you'll engage with this year. A lot of players will potentially have unlocked it if you played all of the seasons, so let us know down in the comment section. But finally, another thing worth mentioning, since there's some overlap and this will be taking place during the January 30th update, but Bungie currently have a community challenge where we need to get 7,777,000 enemy kills with swords, and if the community can complete that, we'll unlock a new emblem called Adventurous Spirit, which is actually something that's been in the game ever since the initial launch of Destiny 2. So that's been sitting in the database for years and will finally be unlocked if we can get that many sword kills. So perhaps if you are playing through the January 30th update content, whatever it may be, it'll be worth throwing on a sword to chip away at that one as a community as well. But for the moment, that is the sort of core piece of content that Bungie are delivering to keep us busy through the first part of February at least. Nothing necessarily absolutely groundbreaking. Riven's Wishes may be useful for some folks, and otherwise we got some useful updates and general stuff to do for folks still playing the game. Up next though, I believe we'll get Guardian Games dropping in March, and then a new update called Into the Light in April, which is apparently going to be the most significant update that we get before Final Shape. Plus we will get 3 new PvP maps in a map pack which is free for all players in May. So arguably the quietest spot for the game probably is going to be through the back end of February and March. But we'll see what happens beyond that. For today though, that's what we have to round up. So as always, I hope the video has been useful guys, and if it has, a rating below very much helps us out on the channel. Also be sure to get subscribed so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content, but otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in today, and I will catch you guys very soon.